Project Hail Mary is not a sci-fi movie. Almost every sci-fi movie ever, they all are like secretly or not so secretly about humanity. What makes us human? What separates us? What we're worth. But I don't think that's what Project Hail Mary is doing at all. This movie is about something that has nothing to do with being human specifically. It's about what it means to be alive in general. I think this movie really stands out. I would like to discuss why I think that is.
Yeah, I mean, we are special as human beings on Earth, but...
And in the universe. Don't shortchange us, Marvin.
Yeah. If there are other beings out there, like their experience isn't
any better or worse than ours, less significant than ours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the late great Carl Sagan, the GOAT, puts it, no matter what other life there may be, the only humans in all the universe come from Earth.
Right.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
True. That is true.
We are human because we are from Earth. Even if there is life that is 99% identical to us elsewhere, they're not human beings. So we are significant, but we are also insignificant because we are literally a blip in the universe and in time. We are like a single grain of sand on all the beaches of the Earth. And from what we could tell so far, we are the only life, at least in at least in our galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, where the fuck is everyone? That's like a very famous like quote from the Fermi paradox. So I think this movie really speaks to some of these topics. It stars Ryan Gosling as Ryland Grace. He's a science teacher, and he wakes up alone on a spaceship, and he has no memory of what he's doing there or why he's there. And over the course of the movie, he gradually pieces it together and discovers that he's actually on a suicide mission. And what's happening is that a mysterious substance is killing our star, the sun. And he was sent to another star system that is not being affected by this same substance to sort of figure out why that star is immune and to send that information back to Earth. However, there's only enough fuel naturally for a one-way trip. So Earth is dying. Earth is cooling because of this solar dimming event, and he's our last hope. So along the way, he meets an unlikely friend and companion that will help him save really the universe or the galaxy at the very least. His friend that he does meet is named Rocky, and it's an alien being from another planet, another star system, who was also sent to this same star system to figure out why his home star is dying the way ours is. So we meet there's two characters from the complete extreme opposites of existence, really, that have to come together for a common goal, which is such a compelling and amazing concept for a story, in my opinion.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
So Marvin, first impressions. What did you expect going into this? Did you? Because I didn't know. I didn't watch any. Like, I didn't read anything about it. I had no idea what it was about. In fact, I was quite disinterested to watch it, if I'm being honest. And I don't know why.
I kind of feel you on that. I don't know if it was something about the cover art or whatever. I didn't watch any trailers. I didn't know really what it was about.
I didn't know who was writing it. I didn't know who directed it. If I had, I'd probably be a little more interested. But
the only thing that made me want to watch it was I love The Martian, so I figured I would enjoy this. But honestly, it was much better than I anticipated. Like, I loved everything about this movie, like literally everything. And I almost didn't want it to end. Like, this movie was mesmerizing from the very first scene. Like, that's how good it was. I don't know, like you said, I don't know why I was hesitant to want to see this, because I mean, we both love sci-fi and like space shit, right? So it's like, I don't know why, what was off-putting about it, to be honest.
It wasn't like I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to watch this like specifically. It was more of like, I'll catch it.
Exactly.
Like,
I was indifferent. Like,
I'll watch someday.
I wasn't motivated.
Like, I had watched the trailer about it a long time ago, and I was like, yeah, okay, it's cool. It's like just a space movie. And I love space, so that's whatever. But I was like, And then I started hearing about the special effects about it. Remember when I had sent you guys like a while back that they used a lot of practical effects for it? And I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Movie looks great. And then I started hearing like all the hype, and I was like, oh,
the
shit. Rumblings. Now I gotta see it. Okay. And
that's
luckily for us, some Russian leaked it. So,
but like I said, The Martian, and this was like so different, honestly, than The Martian.
it's very
Same
different
writer,
than The Martian. Yeah.
I mean, different director too, right? So that has a big part in it. But The Martian was so much more like, felt serious. Not that this wasn't serious. It's like a galaxy-ending threat, but it's like...
This is why I say it's got the DNA of the Spider-Verse. I think a lot of that comes down to the direction and I guess Drew Goddard's treatment of it, but like, it's a very serious subject matter.
Right.
Obviously. But it's like more of like it's more fantastical in a way because this is not something we've experienced.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because The Martian's a survival movie.
Right. It's way more like grounded, I guess you would describe it. So, yes.
Even though we've never been to Mars, but yes, it is more grounded.
Yeah, exactly. But I do like that Andy Weir has that within him because they say that this is a lot like the book. So it's not like they made a lot of... I mean, they had to even like cut a lot of stuff out as they always have to do with the books. But apparently they said that the book, the bond built between Rocky and Grace is one of the best things I've seen on the big screen, honestly. And apparently the book was focused on that a lot too. So they really did it well to, keep that same feel.
Yeah, so going in, I really didn't have any expectation. I was kind of along for a blind journey, which I got to start doing more because it's so much better.
Yeah, it really is.
Even if you don't like the thing, it's still a better experience. Right. Because you don't have any expectations or whatever. So yeah, I, needless to say, also really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed everything about it. I cried just about through the entire movie.
It was bad.
Like the whole movie. Like I'm talking shit that you probably didn't even cry at. Like obviously there's
probably because if I was getting teared up, I know you were getting like triple teared up at just random shit.
I lost water weight from this.
Yeah.
But no, there's like very specific beats in the movie that are emotional, that some people are calling cheap, but I disagree.
No.
But I was just crying at the concept because you know how I am. Like I'm a big Carl Sagan fan. This is like my whole shit about like our place in the universe. Like what life is, like the concept of life in the universe and the scale. Like it's just that stuff really gets to me.
Yeah. And the level of trust like they have to have between each other, like.
Well, that aside, it's just any time like the thought of humanity going extinct, it made me emotional because like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Like we are here and we're special. Like someday the earth won't be here anymore. And who knows what'll happen to humanity. Like we humans as we are right here and now, we won't be here anymore someday. We will either evolve to a different type of species eventually if we make it that long, or we will move on to colonize other planets and stuff like that. Or we're just going to die. There's only one or three things that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's a very like weighted thing. And it's just, I don't know, it made me very emotional the whole time.
I actually like how the threat was to the entire galaxy and not just, the special blue planet that we inhabit,
and
right?
And that's the central part.
That adds a level to it. Yeah.
That's my central argument here, it is not a sci-fi movie. Of course it is, but it's not a typical sci-fi movie because of that reason. Here it's not about what makes humans special and how to preserve humanity. It's about how to preserve life.
Right.
And the movie or the book doesn't even suggest, it suggests, yes, of course, there's other life out there that's not human. We meet him, Rocky and his people. But we don't know if there's any other life out there.
Right.
Because if
who else is on the way, like who didn't make it in transition, like it's crazy.
So the story still preserves that idea that these two species, humans and whatever this guy is, I forget his name, or his species name, Iridians might be the only life out there.
Right.
And so no matter how you slice it, life is worth preserving. This movie it uses amnesia as like a storytelling device. Again, he doesn't know who he is. He's rediscovering himself through what he's doing, not what he remembers, right? And that's key. He doesn't do things because he's remembering stuff. It's the opposite. And that is a very interesting framing because in most cases, heroes in movies, not just sci-fi, they know who they are. and they know what their purpose is. They know what their goal is. Their humanity is the anchor. Let's think about The Thing, everybody's favorite movie. Humanity is the anchor in that movie. Through all the paranoia and distrust and crazy special effects and monsters, it comes down to humanity. It's the very question of the movie. Who is the human at the end and who is the thing? Grace has none of that.
It kind of goes to that thing where like you're not born a certain way, or you're not like born evil or whatever, right? Like these things are taught to you. Like it kind of like reinforces that for me. Like the goodness was just in him naturally.
Yep.
Like even when he's like, I made peace with it, but it's like that was just, I was just saying that because it's like the right thing to do. It's like, you want to do good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, it actually shows that the things that he's doing are instinctual.
Right.
Because he's not here being like, oh, I got to figure out why the star's dying or why our sun's dying. So let me make this, and this to do it. He's doing those things as they come natural to him before he even knows why he was there, which is one of the most interesting framings I've ever seen for a character. Because again, a lot of time it's the opposite. I'm here for this goal, therefore I need to do this, this, and this. This is I'm doing this because this is like, it's just, oh, okay, like this happened, so I'm going to try this. Oh, fuck, this is triggering a memory for me. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I thought that was really awesome. I
love the way that they did that, kind of like going back while also like we're moving forward and we're getting to the, the end, but we're also learning like how we got here at the same time in bits and pieces. And it wasn't like an annoying way either. So
no,
it was good.
And you compare that to a movie like Interstellar where Cooper's doing everything he's doing mainly for his kids.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to save the world and stuff, but he's doing it for his kids.
Yeah, because he's learning about, the people that he traveled there with, like they died, but he's seeing like, oh man, they had this family, like you don't want to let these people down.
And then that is accelerated even further when he does meet Rocky for the first time. And this is in this story, this is a first contact moment. This is the first time humans have discovered that there is other life out there. And it is such a magical, like playful thing when they start to like learn each other and how he like teaches the language and all that stuff. And I like how they made like Rocky was like simple in terms of like his speech, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like a caveman learning English.
He was like a working man, like he's extremely good with his hands.
One thing the movie does, which is amazing, is that it uses science as a universal language, which I thought was unbelievable, that they took that much time to make this introduction between a human and another species, like learn to communicate. It was really, really awesome. And that's a shout out to the writer, of course.
Yeah, that whole introduction was awesome. Just like from first seeing their craft, right? Like their spacecraft to them trying to communicate. I thought that was extremely well done. Like, he's like throwing the message and he's like, they threw it fast at first and he's like, he couldn't get it. And then they throw it slower. He's like, oh, they think I'm dumb.
And this is where my central point comes from, right? Is where it swaps. Because as the audience, we know it's just like, oh, well, he's here for a mission to whatever. Like we learn with him basically. But this is where it kind of switches a little bit because Rocky's not human, not even close to being human.
Not even close, yeah.
And the movie immediately asks, well, what do they share? And one of the big answers is curiosity about each other. Yeah. Not just curiosity, but the recognition that like, oh, I'm out here alone. My whole crew died. I'm also out here and my whole crew died. Right. We need to work together for a central goal, no matter our differences. And their relationship, like you said, is just unbelievable through the whole movie. That they develop this like friendship. It's funny. It's sad at times. It's emotional. They develop like this genuine friendship. Two creatures that are just completely not the same at all on any level, not even close.
Yeah, no, it is extremely sad at moments, but it was extremely like happy and like euphoric.
I get choked up thinking about it.
I know.
So bringing it back home, right? I said in the beginning, like sci-fi is normally obsessed with that like concept of humanity, right? And just to go through a couple of examples of that to really sell it to people and to those of you listening, watching, like you don't really think about it when you watch sci-fi, but like all of it. It's like consciousness, emotion, memory, mortality. You think of a movie like Arrival, I mentioned earlier, is that can we transcend like human linear time? Interstellar also does that. Can we transcend human linear time? But mostly that movie is about, is love a force beyond humanity? Is it like is it as natural as like physics itself? That's what Interstellar kind of asks. Ex Machina and Blade Runner. What's the line between human and machine? And consciousness. Project Hail Mary doesn't actually ask those questions. Instead, his Grace's humanity, like we've been saying, is irrelevant to the whole story at the story's core. What matters is that he's alive, he thinks, he adapts, he connects, he wonders, and Rocky does all the same shit.
As far as humanity, you could even say Rocky has more humanity because he's got like the family at home that he has to get back to, right? Like, and Grace doesn't have really anything, right? He's just so it's,
because and that's that was a great way to illustrate their commonality, which is aliveness, being alive, curiosity, the will to persist and understand, and things like that. Like, I can't think of another movie that really does this way, of that question of like, again, not humanity, but just alive in general. Even Superman is about what it means to be human. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a common theme because we are human. We make content that reflects us. Like everything is about us. Even the gods that we worship, like throughout history, they all reflect us. Oh, God made humans in his image. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Why do you think that is? There's a famous quote that if horses had gods and oxen had gods, that their gods would look like them as well. Of course.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's interesting that this movie did it this way. I thought it was brilliant. And I keep saying the movie, but it's credit is to the book, really. And it was just amazing premise for a story to be told in this way. And I think it asks an illuminating question that most people probably don't think of on a day-to-day basis. I do, of course, because I'm an advanced being. You know, just of what it means, like your place in the universe, not just on Earth. Right. Like people don't look outside of Earth. That's what we talked about with Carl Sagan, the cosmic perspective of that we are a blip of time and a blip of space. Like we are a speck of dust, and we're nothing. But we also are very special and meaningful because we're rare. So it's stuff that I don't think most people actually think of.
But the way they did it, like that, like Rocky and Grace were the central theme, but it didn't devalue any of the other parts of the movie or like the science or sci-fi aspects. Like it was all good. It was all cohesive still. It
all strengthened it. And
to me, it didn't feel cheesy at all. Like it was, like you said, it strengthens it. Like it just makes it that much more impactful. Like what's happening 100%. to the galaxy.
What's going on in this movie is called a panspermia event, where like these organisms are like basically eating the sun to reproduce. Panspermia is one of the theories about how life on Earth was seeded. Probably the likely scenario that life on Earth was seeded from elsewhere in the universe, that it's spread here. The planet that Rocky's from was based on a real exoplanet that we discovered like some years ago. I can't remember the name of it, but the exoplanet is closer to its star than Mercury is to Earth. So Andy Weir was like, oh, okay, well, what if life was on this planet? And he developed all the science. Or not developed,
like how they would,
He used real science to create the species. Like, oh well, if the planet is extremely hot, well, they would probably have to adapt. Like they would have to live underground, so to stay away from the heat, and they would be more rocky, so that way they could deal with like the pressure and stuff like that. Oh well, they would also, if they lived underground, they wouldn't be exposed to light, so they wouldn't have any reason to develop eyes, and so they would use like echolocation and like all this stuff. So. It was a whole adaptive process based on this one planet and imagining like, well, how would life evolve there if it did? And the funny thing, and the funny thing about it was some years later, we discovered that the exoplanet that we thought was an exoplanet isn't anything at all. It was just some weird like signal in space. Yeah. So it was like completely accidental that he arrived at this this story and this lore about Rocky and his planet.
Wow.
Rocky was puppetry. It was not CGI, which also added to, it really added to the, I guess like the emotion behind it. Basically, it was a sophisticated physical puppet. It was a team of 6 puppeteers, and the actor James Ortiz was the one who operated the alien on set. And again, it gives Ryan Gosling like a tangible scene partner. And then they added obviously digital effects on top of that later to remove rigs and things like that.
Course.
So
yeah,
I think it worked out really well. It was really believable. He looked real, I guess, like if you want to call it that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We didn't even really talk too much about Ryan Gosling, but he was like the perfect person to play this movie, to play this character, because he has comedic timing, he has charm, and he has an innocence to him. And that's what really sells this character, is that he has this like this boyish curiosity and innocence to him.
That is another thing I wanted to talk about too, because it was like almost divine timing with, sadly, like, you know, the science team died because they were blown up. But if you think about like how an actual astronaut would have approached everything that happened, it would have been completely different than like a normal teacher type of guy, right? Like he's still a scientist, but he's like a teacher. He connects with people. You know, astronauts are like military, essentially. Like they're trained. Usually they're like pilots or... Yeah,
but not in their hearts. Like they're do it for the exploratory purposes of it, usually. I mean, I don't know.
I just think like procedure-wise, they may not be so keen to work with...
He's a normie.
An alien
they'd probably kill it and take it home for evaluation,
Like, you know, like...
Yeah, so, I get what you're saying.
Like it had to be him, like someone that wasn't an actual astronaut. This is the movie of 2026. Like you can't ask for better. Like
the hype is real, folks.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it really is. Like this one does not, this ain't no long legs.
This ain't no long legs for sure. If you're skeptical about the hype being real or reviews being paid for, not this one. This one nails every moment of this movie is good and emotional and special. My favorite movie of the year so far. It's not been a long year yet, but this one will be tough to beat going forward.
Yeah. And the whole concept of like, because it is affecting the galaxy, it's like a galaxy plague, right? Like it's not like, I don't know if I've seen anything outside, like anything like this before. Not something that's based in like reality, you know, like comic books do like
well,
shit
this
like
is based in reality, you know? Oh, that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I haven't seen anything like this outside of like comic books. Yeah.
This is what I say, the DNA of Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. A lot of the visuals in this, it has a very comic booky feel to it, this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
This feels like a comic book movie sci-fi. Like it has Guardians of the Galaxy vibes a little bit and shit like that. But definitely more grounded in reality. I'd go so far as to say that I think this is one of the best sci-fi movies in years. Maybe the best sci-fi movie I've seen in a very long time.
A very long time. I completely agree. This one definitely is better than The Martian, and
I like this better than Interstellar. I'll just say it.
It's so good.
Interstellar is a great movie.
It's so different than Interstellar, though. So it's like,
again, this movie is the central question. What does it mean to be alive? Do you have an answer to that question? What does it mean to be alive? I think the movie does answer the question, personally. Do you think it answers the question?
I think so. I don't even know how I would answer it, though. Like, it's not an easy thing to put into words.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it answers the question saying that life is special no matter where it's from, and that we should do our best to preserve it. This movie has an 8.3 on IMDb. It's very high. I don't think it's high enough. This is a 10 out of 10 for me.
This movie is an 11. Like this is
baby.
No, it's definitely a 10. Like it's like I said, I just loved every single thing about this.
It doesn't get better than a movie like this. It had tension, it had heart, it had emotion, it had good story. It had everything.
I honestly could easily rewatch this the same way I could easily rewatch Interstellar or even The Martian, because I've watched that several times too.
Absolutely.
It's just sci-fi is so different than just like your normal day-to-day, because it's just that sense of wonder of like, it's fiction, but that shit is it's out there. Like
The
you
truth
can get a
is out
telescope
there.
right now and see some crazy shit, So it's like,
Absolutely. Project Hail Mary, the movie of the year so far, I think for me. Marvin definitely agrees. If you have seen it or if you do watch it, I want you to come back and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about it. I would love to talk more about this movie and see what other people's takes on it was. Like, do you feel it's more about like life in general over humanity, or did I miss something? Last week, we watched Pizza Movie, possibly a revival of the early 2000s sort of like drug comedy slapstick thing that they did, like Dude, Where's My Car? Harold and Kumar. So if that's your thing, click the video link there and check out that conversation. Marvin wasn't there for that one, but he was there in spirit.